Hey, what's going on, YouTubers? Welcome back once again to Tech of Tomorrow. Now, in the last 2 weeks, we've seen some crazy ass keyboards. The RealForce RGB, $250. The Corsair the week before at $200. A lot of people seem between the two to prefer the Corsair, but today we're going to take a look at a keyboard that's under $100. It's mechanical, features its own keys, but did I say it's under $100? That's right. Now this is the Tesoro Excalibur SE Spectrum. Damn, I can't remember. I remembered it all in one big splow. So with that said though, let's jump in and let's check out what this keyboard's all about and why at the end of the day, I think it's the absolute best mechanical keyboard for under $100. So first off, let's check out what comes in the box. Now, obviously you get the keyboard itself, but you get two other little things. You get this little sticker. That's right, this little sticker right here, which has every one of the key things and what they can do for you, which you can actually, stick in the center of your monitor until you learn what you're doing. Then they got this little quick book guide that tells you everything that's going on in it. That's what comes in the box. Now the keyboard itself, when you're looking at it from the top, it looks like any other keyboard that you've ever seen because obviously most of them are set up pretty much exactly the same. In fact, this looks a lot like the RealForce RGB in many ways. If you turn it onto its back, it's got the same type of plating, got 2 feet, all the same type of features, almost the same type of tilt as well. Now the big thing about this keyboard is the Tesoro Switches. Now these are supposed to be similar to the Cherry MX switches, but they're just branded by these guys, and it seems like a lot of people out there when I read the reviews are liking these type of keys. Now there's absolutely no metal in these keys whatsoever, and that makes them pretty much different than anything else in the market, so you don't have to worry about spilling your drinks and stuff like that as well because it's anti-dust and spill resistant, which is pretty cool, which means you just spill your drink on it, you don't have to worry about metal getting corroded and down the line ruining your keyboard whatsoever. You just got to take the keys up, dry and clean that stuff off, and you're back and going in the game. Now, one thing great about this keyboard is you don't have to worry about any type of driver CD whatsoever. It's got a driverless setup. You can do everything on the fly. All the adjustments are very simple. You get the escape button on the top, and then you get your 4 programmable macro buttons. And remember, the memory is already in the keyboard, so you don't have to worry about programming this anywhere else and saving it in any kind of memory file on your computer. You can pick this thing up, go wherever you want, and everything's programmed in it. Next up, the F5 through F8 keys, these are the speed of your actuation, and you can go anywhere from 5 milliseconds up to 40 milliseconds, depending on what your preference is. As far as multimedia keys go, the F9 through F11 keys, these control your volume. You can mute, raise your volume up, or bring it down through these keys. The F12 is the keyboard lock button, and last but not least are the profile keys. You can see it says Profile 1, Profile 2, Profile 3, and these also double as the standard keys that are on any keyboard. Some other features of the keys themselves are non-contact signal, which eliminates double typing. All the keys are hot swappable, and like I said before, this keyboard features an advanced anti-dust and spill resistance design. The report rate is 1000 Hz. There's also 512 kilobytes of built-in memory. The life cycle of the keystroke is 100 million keystrokes. Now, I don't know if you're gonna ever be able to do that much gaming. Backlit, it's completely RGB backlit, and the backlit setup is per key. And every key can be programmed to its own color, so you're definitely going to find something that you like. There are also anti-ghosting effects which you can turn on and off, and they offer full end key and 6-key rollover. And since the Excalibur is so well built, you know it's going to last a long time for your gaming needs. Another thing to take note of, now I don't know how much this actually means to different people because this is obviously an area where it depends on what you're doing, but this keyboard does offer no extra USB ports or anything else like that. You get the single USB that you plug into your PC, and that's it as far as connectivity. Now that's totally simplistic, and a lot of people are gonna be like, hey, that's cool with me, but I know there's some folks out there be like, oh man, no USB? Not for me. And if you're wondering, hey, how long is that cable, Elric? It's 1.8 meters. And as far as the dimensions go, the Excalibur sizes in at 450 by 150 by 34 millimeters. It's very light too, it only weighs 1.24 kilograms. Alright folks, so those are the basic specs and all that about the keyboard. Now, this next part of the keyboard is very subjective. Some people out there are like, hell to the yes, I love RGB. Other people are like, no man, I don't want any RGB. Well, check it out. If you don't like the RGB or anything like that, well, you don't have to use it whatsoever. You can completely disable it on the Excalibur so that you don't have to see anything but the keys the way they are. But if you're into the lighting effects like I think it's really cool. You can do a lot of different stuff with this keyboard, and best of all, you don't have to go online and do any driver type of stuff. You can do live recording of different keystrokes and all kinds of different things to make this keyboard yours. Like I said before, there's 10 different programs that are already inside the keyboard for you to use. So yeah, you can't like totally crazy in control, but with all these things already pre-programmed to it, and the most of the stuff that you're gonna wanna do is gonna be in there. I guarantee if you like RGB, unless you're trying to write your name or do something fancy like that, I think you'll be totally cool with what this does. Now all you have to do is just hit a couple different keys, and then you're able to do whatever you want and set it the way you want. Now the question other people asked before in other videos, they said, hey man, Elric, you missed the part of how loud are these keys when you're hitting them. Well, these aren't that loud, but obviously it's not a membrane-based keyboard. Obviously membrane-based keyboards, they're smooth, they're nice and soft, they're beautiful. Mechanical keyboards all have a little bit of click. And since this is modeled after the red switches, you can see that it's going to be about that same volume. It's not extremely clacky, but there is still a slight clack, as you guys can see right here. Now, as far as the in-game experience goes, this keyboard is very, very nice. All the keys are responsive, and like I said before, if the keys aren't as responsive as you like, you can always change the actuation to be exactly what you like. Now, one caveat, however, might be is there's no wrist rest. So if a wrist rest is like, you're well, then you might want to think about that. But there are so many aftermarket wrist rests that you can get. I really like the one that's from Gel from Kensington. That one's totally badass. That's the one I use. So I'll try to put a link down below because that's the one I think is more preferable than anyone that comes in any keyboard on the market. But that's just me. But at the end of the day, folks, the best thing about this keyboard beyond all these nice features is, come on, it's under $100. $99 right now. So in my book, I really feel that for under $100, this is the absolute best mechanical keyboard you can get your hands on. I like it a lot. Now, I know there's gonna be some people out there who might be saying, well, it's not a mechanical keyboard because of this or that, I don't know, but it's marketed as that. So let's just keep it in that frame where we won't cut it up into like punk rock, Metallica, speed rock, death metal, We won't chop it into so many pieces like they've done with rock music. We'll just leave it like that. And at the end of the day, down below that like button, we will have a link to all the information about this keyboard. So if you guys want to pick one up for yourself or just check out more information before you make that buy, you can do so here. So I'm Elric. You guys have been watching Tech of Tomorrow. We got more tech coming out every day this week, so stay tuned to the channel.